Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. 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 Okay, yes, we are live now. Good evening, everyone. So today I told you we are going to study chemistry class 9th. I hope everyone is there. Hi Keshav, can you send the links to all so that all can join? Okay, send the link to all so that all can join. Share it with your friends. Hello. Share it with your friends beta so that all can join. Good evening, Ashwin. Hello. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello. Fine. Let's start the class today. Last class we were discussing about matter has some mass. Exactly. We were discussing about mass. We were discussing about density and we were discussing. Am I audible? Am I audible, everyone? Quickly say me if I am audible. Hello. Fine. Hello. Okay. Now last class we were discussing about mass, we were discussing about volume and we were discussing about density. Now I just want to make the screen visible. So last class Darshini had some doubt. I have cleared her doubt about density. I told you that mass is exactly dependent on density. Density is equal to mass by volume. Density is equal to mass by volume. Very good, Ashwin. Ashwin told about matter occupies space. That is correct. Okay, Ekta, good evening everyone. Good evening. So now let's start the session today. Now look here. Last class we were discussing that matter occupies space, matter is having mass, matter is having exactly volume. I repeat, matter occupies space, matter is exactly having mass, matter is exactly having volume. All this content, yes, density is equal to mass by volume. We have discussed about this. Density is equal to mass by volume. We have discussed about it in last class. Okay, now what we are going to do today is, today we will understand some of very important property of matters. Fine. So some very important property of matter we will understand. Now before understanding some very important property of matter, let me discuss Fine. Let me discuss about exactly density is equal to mass by volume. I told you in last class that density is equal to mass by volume. Density is equal to exactly mass by volume. Now what is exactly mass? Now is the screen visible to you now? Is it visible? Okay, I am going to again say all that important points. Last class, exactly I was starting from last class, we were discussing about density is equal to mass by volume. I told you a very important point that density and mass, they are directly proportional. So if any object is having higher density, so definitely its mass will be more, and density is inversely proportional to volume. So that means higher density means volume will be less. So exactly that density is equal to mass by volume, that formula was that, like that only. For your class, density is equal to mass by volume. I have discussed enough about that. But now what we are going to understand about matter and its particle behavior. Okay, so today what we are going to do is we will understand the nature of matter and exactly the particles. So we have to understand one very important thing, that matter is made up of small minute particles. Okay, matter is made up of small minute particles. So that behavior of matter and how these particles are behaving, that we have to understand. Now let me give you one simple example. I gave you a piece of stone and I told you crush it and powder it. Okay, so what you did, you started crushing the stone and then you powdered it, and then I told give me one small particle of that. Then you said, ma'am, it is very difficult because I cannot hold that particle. Then I will say, if further we will divide the particle. Then you will say, how we can further divide it? Yes, it is exactly true. That means matter is exactly made up of very small minute particles which you cannot see from your naked eyes. Okay, so we have to understand many properties there. Fine, let me see if someone is telling, auntie, will mass be more than volume? So density is equal to mass by volume. So here, okay, who has asked this question? Kanishka. Kanishka, totally they will be determining, they will be dependent on each other, beta. Okay, so I will give you some simple examples so that you can be able to understand. Hi Krisha, everyone please, you have to be very much attentive. No likes till now, so we have started. Now listen to me. You have to start with simple note and you have to understand the entire section, children. So please start. Now listen to me, listen to each of my content and then keep on asking questions. One question Kanishka has asked, mass be more than volume. Okay, her answer I am going to give. Next question, about atom she want to, Keshav want to know about atom. Then third, Ashwin wants to know, mass is the amount of matter an object contain. Very good, Ashwin. Okay, that means you have some information about it. Now one boy Keshav Praveen is there. He is telling atom is the smallest particle which cannot be divided further into matter. So that means what, I have read your answers because I saw one very important thing, that you all have certain informations. You all have certain informations, but these informations are going here and there. So first what I have to do is, first I have to compile your informations one by one. So shall we start with matter? One single content, means stone by stone, brick by brick, we will adjust the informations. Fine. So first information, when we have studied, you want to know about atom. Very good, it's good thing only, but I will be discussing about atom. Atom is exactly further subdivided into subatomic particles, that is called as electron, proton and neutron. That is exactly called as beta electron, proton and neutron. So that content I will be discussing with you. Just give me 1 minute so that I can start from the beginning. Okay. Smallest particle which cannot be divided. Keshav, you are absolutely correct about atom. Joel Dalton found it. Okay, super. Now one by one we will explain better. One by one I will explain about it. Just give me 1 minute. So just a small quick recap and then we will start from the place where from you have started. Okay. So Kanishka and all, just listen to me beta. I will discuss about density also. I will discuss about mass also. I will discuss about volume also, because concept of volume is very important. So first I am going towards Kanishka. So Kanishka has asked me a question about volume. So beta, the amount of space occupied by a body, the amount of space occupied by a body, the amount of space occupied by a body is called its volume. Okay, the amount of space occupied by a body is called its volume. Now, volume is something that exactly a body is possessing. That is correct, Keshav. That is absolutely correct. So, Kanishka, listen to me very nicely, beta. The amount of space occupied by a body is called its volume. Now, how much a space an object is occupying, that is its volume. Now, talk about mass. Now, talk about mass. Like, I gave you a balloon. Okay, now what you did is you filled air into it. Kanishka, listen to my point again and again, because here it is not about directly and inversely proportional. I want you to understand behavior of particle, and accordingly I want you to find mass and volume of the matter. Okay, so I am reading your what you call comments. Don't worry, I will be answering your comments also. Just give me 2 minutes so that I can explain points one by one. So first point, Kanishka, when you asked me what is the relation between mass and volume. Now I am asking from you one thing, that Kanishka, please give me a balloon. So you gave me a balloon. I told fill air into it. Now you gave volume to the balloon, yes or no? Because you filled air inside it. Okay, now once you filled air inside it, air is containing minute particles. Okay, the gases are present in it, dust particles are present in it, that went inside the balloon. Now beta, you have to understand the balloon is now having a dimension, it is having a shape. Now inside the shape, how many particles are present? Air particles are present, that will determine its mass. I hope you might have understood. So what will be my weight? What will be my mass? I gave you a pen, I asked about mass of it, then you will say, ma'am, this is exactly having a shape. So this will determine its volume, but inside it, how many particles and what will be the arrangement of the particle? Accordingly, it will have mass and it will have density. I hope, Kanishka, your point, your confusion is over now. Kanishka, I hope you might have understood, beta. That means the presence of particle inside a matter will give the mass, and the dimension is its volume. The dimension is its volume, and the particles that is present inside it, that will determine its mass and density. I hope you might have understood, Kanishka. Just give me yes, you have understood or not. Anyone having doubt, now tell me. Ashwin understood? Everyone quickly. Only 2 likes. This is very injustice to me. Seriously. Now fine, I'm just joking. Listen. So mass into gravity, that is equal to weight. Definitely beta, mass into gravity is equal to weight. That I will be discussing afterwards beta. One by one, point by point. Where is one more Keshav is missing? Where is that Keshav? Fine. Understood na beta? Very good. Very good, you have understood that point. Now I don't think that you will have any confusion. Once you will be talking about composition, that very moment it will come that the shape will be exactly determining the volume, and internal particle constitution will give mass. Okay, and internal particle arrangement will determine the density. That's why from the beginning I am giving you a simple example that solid particles are very tightly packed. They have very less intermolecular space and very high solid attractive forces, and that's why it will be denser. That's why it will be denser. So density of solid, liquid and gases varies because the particle composition means particle arrangement is different. The particle arrangement is different. I hope you might have understood this point. Shall we move forward? Thank you so much for 4 likes. Very big thing for me. Okay. Now look here beta. So if a child is liking my class, it's a very big thing. It is giving me motivation that okay, next time I will prepare much better. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you beta. Intermolecular force of attraction. Keshav, Praveen, you are absolutely correct. Kanishka, very good beta. Ashwin is telling intermolecular space is less in solid, but in liquid and gases intermolecular space is more. Thank you so much. God bless you all. You have understood a very important vital point here. Very good beta, very good. So now we will be understanding about mass. Now what is mass? Every time we exactly go through with different examples. I'm giving you one potato, I'm giving you one piece of stone, I just called one elephant and told find the mass of the elephant. That means what? Where is mass and how can we express mass specifically when we are dealing with matter? Okay, because we know that mass is playing a vital role when we are defining matter. Space, volume is exactly playing a vital role when we are talking about matter. Okay, and the resistive force the matter is exactly imposing on the other material, that is also very important. So now first important point we are going to understand is volume. So volume already we understood. Now second is matter has some mass. Now how to understand mass? The amount of matter contained in a body is called mass. That means how much the matter is contained inside a body, that will be exactly mass. So all solid have mass. We know all solid is exactly having mass, and each solid object is containing matter inside it, particles inside it. So can we go to particles so that our understanding will become much easy? That is what beta last class also I told you. I will give you small coins and I will tell you arrange a coin and make something very beautiful. Then what you will do? Either you will compile you will keep one coin above the other and you will let it stand. So definitely that is also a shape. That is also a shape. So same way, when small particles will be present inside, it will exactly constitute together and form matter. It is very simple. That means small particles, when they will be present in a particular space, they will give shape, and that will be exactly called as matter. In simple way, try and understand. Like I will give you a potato and I will tell you, you chop the potato into smallest piece. Then what you will do? You will try to chop it. One stage will come, one stage of chopping will come beta, when you cannot chop it further. It will be very small. So think, then I will tell you that Ashwin, now you gather all the shape, all the sliced one and then give me a total one. Then what you will say, ma'am, how can I do that? But beta, if I will compile all that small chopped pieces and I will keep it together, then definitely it will give the shape of a potato. I hope you might have understood. That means small particles, when they compile together, join together, can give a shape of a matter. Fine. So this is what it has been written here. What is written here? The amount of matter contained in a body is mass. Now mass is measured by physical balance. How to measure mass? If somebody will tell, Khushbu ma'am, how to know your mass? Then I will be saying, how to know my mass? My dimension has to be known first. So I will be using a physical balance. I will be using a weight machine. What I will use? Simple thing, I will be using a weight machine. I will go and check my weight, and according to whatever my weight will be there, and gravity, acceleration due to gravity is 10. I will divide my weight with gravity. So very simple process is there. I'll explain this process. So exactly what is this process is about? A very simple process. If someone, because I got one question here that talk about weight. So definitely I am talking about weight. So weight is equal to mass. Weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. So if I checked my weight, and weight will come in Newton. What is the unit of weight? One very important key point you must remember. Weight is nothing but a type of force you are exerting on the surface of earth. What is weight? Weight is a type of force you are exerting on the surface of earth. Fine. So here, if my weight is exactly 65 kg and acceleration due to gravity, so weight is exactly 65 Newton. Okay, if I got weight 65 Newton and acceleration due to gravity approx I will take 10, then what will be the mass? Then this acceleration due to gravity will shift down. then it will divide 65. Then you will say, ma'am, 6.5 kg, because mass unit is, SI unit is exactly kg. So kg meter per second square is acceleration due to gravity. I hope you might have understood this point, that if I will weight myself and I know acceleration due to gravity, then very easily I will be able to know correct only. Correct, Keshav. Very good. So one more Keshav is there. I am missing that Keshav. Where is that? Fine. So exactly 9.8 also you can take, approximation 10 also you can take. Kanishka, absolutely correct answer. I don't know where are the rest of the kids. They are not joining the session. So now first work is, I hope you might have understood about mass. Fine. So we have understood about mass. Now we will understand some examples. Now the beam is, this one is not needed. So if you place two equal inflated balloons, now let us see one experiment. See here. That is what last class I was talking about. Which one will be having more mass? So I told you that I think Darshini was there. That time I was discussing with Darshini, and Darshini gave me a balloon. I told Darshini which one is having more mass. Then Darshini inflated the balloon, and she filled that balloon with air. And after that, what we have seen, that this balloon, when we weighted them, we saw that this balloon is having more mass in comparison. You see, we have weighted it, and after weighting, what we are seeing? After weighting, we are seeing that the balloon which is exactly having air inside it is having more mass in comparison. So beam balance we have used. With the help of the balance, we tried to check which one is having more mass. We tried to check which one is having more mass. Okay. Oh. Okay, no problem, beta. No problem. Everyone is welcome. Okay. Now listen. So exactly, beta, it is more mass. Which one is having more mass? The balloon which is having air inside it is exactly having more mass. So you've understood the concept. Now beta, let's go to the next point about matter. Fine. Let us go to the next point about matter. Now understand it nicely. Kanishka, everyone ready to understand the next point, beta? Everyone ready to understand next point? Hello? Okay, because Keshav Praveen is telling, because number of particle is more in filled balloon as compared to inflated balloon. Very good. Why? Because number of particle is more. I told you na, if you will blow air in the balloon, then whatever particles will be there, it will be present inside it, and the particles present inside, it will be exactly giving some mass to the balloon. Okay, very good. After that, next Monisha. Okay, Monisha is ready. That is Krisha is ready. Fine. Now beta, matter is classified into two states. Screen is clear. Matter is classified into two states, beta. One state is called as physical classification. One type is called as physical classification. Another type is exactly called as chemical classification. How many types it is there? Quickly say me. How many types of matter is there? How can you decide? How can you classify matter? Matter is classified into how many types? Very good, very good. Matter is classified into how many types, children? Quickly say. Matter is classified into how many types? Very good, very good. Matter is classified into two types. Super. Matter is classified into two types. Now what are the two types of matter in which what are the two types in which? One is called as physical classification, another one is called as chemical classification. Now physically, how can we classify matter? Physically, we can classify matter. Very good, absolutely correct, beta. Physically, we can classify matter as solid, liquid, gas. Solid, liquid, gas are the three types in which we can classify matter. Now chemically, we can say about matter is made up of element, compounds and mixtures. Matter is exactly made with element, compound and mixture. I repeat, element, compound and mixture. What is that? Element, compound and mixture. So chemical composition, chemical classification is different from that of physical classification. Now one simple example I am giving you, which is exactly a perfect example which will tell you about physical and chemical classification. Simple example and best example I am going to give it to you. The simple example is, beta, when you talk about matter, you will see, means when you see an ice cube, then what you are saying, which state of matter? Exactly, water is in which state? Solid state. When you see liquid, 1 glass of water I will give you, then I will ask which state? Then you will say liquid state. And if I will what you call steam is coming, hot steam is exactly coming, then I will ask which state? Then you will say vapor state. So definitely matter can be classified. So exactly first and second you can say, and what you call, you can say and explain, but the third one you can feel, means hot steam, the moment it will touch your body, you will say that okay, the water vapor, the steam is exactly coming. So here matter is having 3 physical state. Now 2 more is there, that is plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate, that you have to study. I will explain that also. And chemical classification, like elements, when elements are combining, it is forming compound, mixture is there, compounds are there, molecules are there. So different compositions in chemical classification of matter we are going to understand in next chapter. Very next chapter we are going to understand the chemical classification. Fine. Now we are going to focus towards physical classification of matter. In which classification of matter we are going to focus now? Physical classification of matter. Okay, Ashwin is telling about gas, Ekta is telling about gas, all of you are correct. That is beta vapor. Vapor will be the gaseous form, and like if perfume will be there, perfume smell will come, then you will be exactly smell sensation will come, and you will be easily telling that you have smelled perfume. Okay, so that differentiation in gaseous state you can do. Correct Merunisa, correct Kanishka, Ashwin, everybody is correct beta. Fine, super. So let us go to physical classification. So where we are going to classify matter physically. Okay, so first test is about physical nature. Okay, screen is visible beta. Fine, just check. So the moment I am okay. Now listen, everything in the universe is made up of matter. We know about everything in the universe is made up of matter. So exactly I have imparted color to the matter. I just wanted you to understand the nature and behavior of particle. For that only I have exactly colored it. Okay, I have just imparted color in this. So now you have to understand one very important thing, that everything in the universe is made up of matter. So matter is the prime content. So everything in the universe is made up of matter. But now question arises, what is matter made up of? So this is what exactly from last 2 classes I am shouting and shouting. Can anybody tell me what is matter made up of? What is matter made up of beta? Everything in the universe is made up of matter. Now what is matter made up of? What is matter made up of? Because from the first class itself I was talking about a very important thing. I hope you have understood. Matter is made up of particles. Thank you so much Keshav. Super beta. So here matter is made up of particles. So you have to understand this. Matter is exactly made up of particles. Okay, matter is made up of particles. Now all things include book, pen, tables, our body are made up of tiny particles. Okay, example, 1 droplet of water is made up of 10 to the power 21 particles. How many particles make 1 droplet of water? How many particles make 1 droplet of water? How many particles make 1 droplet of water? 10 to the power 21 particles are present, and it is making 1 drop of water. 1 drop of water. You can ask this to your friends, you can ask this to anyone. That means how much exactly particle is present inside in 1 droplet of water. So what answer you are going to say? It is exactly 10 to the power 21 particles are present in 1 droplet of water. You see, 1 droplet of water is containing 10 to the power 21 particles. Okay, now these particles are not visible. Even under high power microscope also you cannot see this. That means it is telling us that they are very small. That is what I gave you one example answer now, that you were discussing. Keshav, you are correct only. Merunisa, that is matter is made up of particle. This is what is proving, beta, that matter is made up of particle. This is exactly what it is proving, that matter is made up of particle. What is matter made up of? Matter is made up of particles. Fine. Now next important point. So we have understood a very important part. Matter is made up of particle. First we understood nature of matter. So matter occupies space, it is having mass, it is having volume, and it exactly provides resistance to other particle. Now next important point we are studying about matter is made up of particle. What is matter made up of? Matter is made up of particles. Matter is made up of particles. Fine. Now we are going to understand about matter made of particle by one example. Now what we are doing here is we are doing an experiment. In this experiment we took a beaker, and in this beaker we are adding CuSO4. Okay, copper sulphate. What we are putting inside it? Copper sulphate crystals. What we have kept inside? Copper sulphate crystal. You can see copper sulphate crystal going inside the beaker. Okay, so with a very understood or not, copper sulphate crystal keep taking inside the beaker. So now, so this is one of an experiment which will explain that matter is made up of particle. This experiment is a proof. So if someone will tell you how to prove that matter is made up of particle, that one answer you are going to copper sulphate, correct, CuSO4. Copper sulphate formula is CuSO4. CuSO4, copper sulphate. So now this copper sulphate part I am going to explain. So copper sulphate crystals, which is exactly blue in color, we are going to use in this experiment. What we are going to do, beta? We are going to use copper sulphate crystals, fine powdered copper sulphate crystals, or copper sulphate crystal. We are going to CuSO4. Okay, it's not, bracket is not there, dear, bracket is not there. Fine. So CuSO4, copper sulphate, we are, Kanishka, you are correct. Now look here, beta, how to do this one? You have correct, said correct only, but here CuSO4. Okay. Fine. Fine. Now look here, beta. So first what you are going to do here is Brownian motion. So one Brownian motion is exactly there. What does Brownian motion exactly says? That matter is made up of particle. So first thing is that if any small particles are there, so okay, fine, correct only, Kanishka. Now look here, I will be explaining for that point, and after that I will be reading your comments. Fine. So now look here, beta. First I am talking about, I am taking a beaker, I am adding water into it. Now water is what? What is the color of the water? Then you will say, auntie, madam, you are joking exactly. What should be the color of water? Water is colorless. Then what I did is I added some crystals of CuSO4. So when I added some crystals of CuSO4, then after that what I did, I mixed it nicely. Then the colorless water now converted into blue color. So what is this color is imparting? What this color is telling you? Beta, here what you can do here is the small particles are there now. Once it will be mixed, you have to exactly that particles are there, it will be always in random motion. The particles are there, which is exactly correct, Ashwin. The particles are in random motion. So what you can do here is you means what it is exactly one of the behavior of the particle. So the behavior of the particle says that the tiny particles or the particles which is exactly present in the matter, after mixing they will be exactly moving. They will always be in random motion. They will always be in random motion. That is exactly called as Brownian motion. Okay. So here simple example I am giving you. I am not going to very high definitions or explaining. Just understand, if I will tell you to go inside a class and I will tell you enjoy, there is no class today. So what you will do? You all will play, you all will shout, you all will do whatever, but you will not be sitting in one place. So definitely that means what? That day you will be in motion. But if okay, random motion, correct only. That is what. So you will be moving here, there. So that particle behavior, when the particle keep on striking with another particle and keep on moving from one place to another, this is exactly called as random motion. This is exactly called as random motion. Correct only, Marunisa. That is what is Brownian motion of the particle is there. Okay. So now let us perform an activity to show the nature of it. So now we are going to know the nature. First, I told you already, we will add some crystals of copper sulphate, and then we will stir the solution. After stirring it is exactly imparting blue color. So what does this blue color is indicating? Observation. Observation is very, very important. So this observation you must write down, and conclusion. Observation and conclusion, because we know what we want. We want to prove that matter is made up of particles. Our content we have to prove is matter is made up of particle. What we have to prove here? That matter is made up of particle. Okay. Now how to prove it? I told you we will take a beaker. Inside the beaker we will keep water, and in that we will add copper sulphate. After that we will stir it nicely, and after stirring what we are doing? After stirring we are seeing that it is giving blue color. So now this blue color is due to what? So this is exactly observation is telling that this observation is very, very important. That is, the copper sulphate crystal settle at the base of the beaker. So once you are adding copper sulphate, then what is happening? The copper sulphate will settle at the beaker. Then you will take a glass rod and you will stir it nicely. So once you will start mixing it, once you will start stirring it, what you will be getting? Once you will stir it, you will see a blue color solution. You will see this is the blue color solution. You see the copper sulphate is nicely settling down, but after that when you will stir, you will see a blue color imparted by the copper sulphate. Now this is what the procedure, and this is the observation. On stirring, the crystal of copper sulphate disappear, that is dissolved in water. So after nicely dissolving, what it will give you, beta? After nicely dissolving, what it will give? It will give copper sulphate solution. It will give what? Copper sulphate solution. Copper sulphate solution. Now what is the color of the copper sulphate solution? Colorless or blue color? Very good, Kanishka. Kanishka said it is exactly blue color. It is exactly blue color. That is the correct answer. It is exactly what, beta? It is exactly blue color. Super. Fabulous piece of work. You have given the correct answer only. Now copper sulphate crystal are made up of millions of tiny particles. On dissolving the crystal, it will break down into tiny particles and spread within throughout the solution, and it is exactly imparting blue color. It is exactly imparting what color, beta? It is exactly imparting blue color. Which color it is imparting? It is imparting blue color. So now I will tell you one small behavior of water. Now understand. Have you seen sponge, beta? Sponge. You know, you have seen sponges. Sponge, which is very, very soft, small pores are there. Yes or no? Have you ever seen sponges? Now, if you will keep sponge inside a bucket, what will happen? What will happen? If you will keep sponge inside the bucket, what will happen? Bucket full of water. So, if you are going to keep small sponge inside the bucket which is full of water, what will happen? What will happen if you will keep sponge inside a bucket full of water? So, Vineet, are you there? If you are going to keep sponge, water is filled in the hole. Very good, very technical answer, super. So exactly what will happen? Water. So water will be filled. So after that I will tell you, lift the sponge. Will the sponge have the same mass, same weight? Will the sponge have same mass, same weight? Very good, Ashwin. Sponge will absorb water. Very good, Kanishka. But sponge will absorb water. Now what you will do, if you will squeeze sponge, what you will get? If you will squeeze sponge, what you will get, beta? If you will squeeze sponge, you will be getting water back. Yes or no? That means in between the pores of the sponge, water is getting absorbed. In between the pores of the sponge, water is getting absorbed. So all my children, are you agreeing this fact that in between that is exactly getting absorbed? Yes or no? Yes or no? Water will be drained. Correct. If I will squeeze the sponge, water will be drained. But if I will keep the sponge inside bucket full of water, water will go inside the sponge, because sponges are having small tiny pores. Okay, what sponges are having? Sponges are having small tiny pores, and in that water will be exactly went inside. Same way water is also there. So same way water is also behaving. Then you will ask, what is the similarity between sponge and water? You talked about sponge, now you are talking about water. So can you tell me what similarity you want? Now understand, water is exactly called as universal solvent. What water is called as? Universal solvent. Okay, why water is called as universal solvent? Have you ever wondered, when you are taking lemon and you are exactly adding lemon juice inside water, and you are adding sugar in it, then you are making a lemon juice. But where is that sugar crystals going? Where is that sugar crystals going? Is it disappearing? You will say, auntie, don't talk about it. It will disappear in water. So water is having some magical qualities, you are exactly wanting to say. If I will give you 2 teaspoons of salt and I will give you 1 beaker of water, and I will tell you to dissolve it, you will say it's such an easy process. What you will do, you will add 2 teaspoons of water in the beaker, and then you will stir it nicely. Once you will stir it, the salt will disappear. You will say, again magic happened. But is there any actual magic inside it? Is there any actual magic inside it? Then the answer is, there is no such magic. Is exactly, water is containing some pores inside it. So what happens? So you have to understand, water molecules have some space or pores or gaps, whatever you want to say, use that word. Okay, so when water is exactly having some gaps inside it, pores inside it. So here, imparting color. So these are exactly what the salt water solution. Can you see salt inside it? Can you see the composition of air inside water? Can you see this? So exactly what water is doing is, when you are adding salt in it, when you are adding sugar in it, then this salt and sugar crystals are exactly dissolving. It is breaking into, gaps are filled with salt and sugar. Correct, Keshav? Super. So here you have to understand this point, beta, कि when you are adding any salt solution or sugar solution inside it, then at that very moment, what is happening here is, the particles, that is the crystals of sugar or salt, it will get mixed and it will exactly fill the gaps in between the water. So like sponges are there na, the sponges are having small holes, and when you will be exactly keeping the sponges inside bucket full of water, then the water will go inside that small holes. In the same way, water is exactly having some gaps, holes, you can say. Simple way understand. Imagine that water molecule will have some gaps inside it. The moment you are adding sugar crystal in that, the sugar crystal will dissolve, and what will happen? The sugar crystal will go in that gap, and that's why it is not visible to you. But once you will start hitting this sugar solution, and the water will come out in the form of vapor, then again one stage will come when all the water will be exactly getting converted into vapor, then that sugars will be left in the solid state. This is the way now you are taking out salt from the sea water. Yes or no? You are exactly evaporating the sea water, and sea water is saline, it is containing salt. So once the water will be evaporated, salt will be left. That means what? Water is exactly small pores, it is there in the water. And once what you are doing is, these pores will be full of these particles, and That's why these are invisible to you. So same thing happened here also. You see here, sugar crystals are exactly small crystals were there. Now what you did, once you started stirring, the sugar crystals started taking place. The gaps, whichever gaps were there, this sugar crystal started taking that place, and that's why finally it imparted blue color to you. Understood or not? That's why it imparted finally which color to you? Blue color to you. I hope you might have understood this content, beta. So you have to understand, that's why water is universal solvent. The gaps present in the water makes it unique. It is exactly capable of taking things inside in the gap. Okay, and because of it, it is giving a uniform color. Super Keshav, everyone understood this point what I told you right now? Everyone understood? Tell me. Give me a nod. Yes, we have understood this point what you said, ma'am. Ma'am, auntie, whatever you want to say whatever name. But beta, you have to understand this concept. It is very, very important. Fine. So many a times they will ask question in chemistry. Chemistry means you have to be very specific. If I will ask your name, you will tell your neighbor's name, then it will not work. Na? In the same way, if I will ask you about matter is made up of particles, then you will be telling experiment about something else, then definitely it won't work. So simple way, I am going to take a beaker, I will add water in it, and then what I will do, I will add crystal, copper sulphate crystals, I will stir it, the full solution, copper sulphate solution will impart blue color. Why it will impart blue color? Conclusion is copper sulphate crystals are made up of millions of tiny particles. Copper sulphate solution are made up of what? Copper sulphate solution are made up of what? Millions of tiny particles. It is made up of what? Millions of tiny particles. Okay, on dissolving the crystal break into tiny particles. So this big crystal pieces will break into tiny particles and it will spread throughout the solution, which impart a blue color. Why it can spread inside water solution? Because water is universal solvent and it is exactly having pores inside it, gaps inside it. It will definitely allow copper sulphate to take that place and definitely the reaction will be unique. Okay. It's a physical change, it's a physical change, it's a physical change. It is what type of change? Physical change. So lemon juice is a type of physical change. Lemon, water and sugar. Once I am adding, it is exactly going to give you a lemon juice. Fine. So did you understood it? The gaps of the water will be exactly filled by copper sulphate. The gaps of the water is exactly filled by what? Copper sulphate. I repeat, it is exactly filled by what? Copper sulphate. Tiny particles are there. Kanishka, I hope my children understood today what concept I wanted to teach you. Very good, Ashwin. Super. Lokesh. Oh, no problem, Lokesh. This is exactly getting recorded, and once class will be over, you can see this video again one more time. So no need to be panicked if network problem is there, beta. Okay. Now, see. Particles of matter are very, very small. Particles of matter are very, very small, and this experiment I already told you with certain example. I told you now, I gave you a piece of stone and I told Kanishka, you powder the piece of stone. Then Kanishka said, auntie, it is very easy. She crushed the stone and she made it in a very fine powder. And after that I told Kanishka, can you give me one particle of that powder? Then you will be saying, auntie, this from this much small, how can I am going to give you? Okay, that is what the minute particle. So now how to prove that matter is made up of minute particle? So for this we are going to take potassium permanganate, KMnO4. Potassium permanganate we are going to take. So which is exactly having purple color. Which color it is having? Purple color. So this experiment is very simple. Now I'll explain you how this experiment is proceeding. We will take a beaker. Inside beaker we will add water and then we will add few drops of potassium permanganate. Once potassium permanganate will go inside, you see how much dark color it is imparting. Okay. Now from this empty, hello, can you hear me? Okay. So, and then from this dropper, which is exactly, we will make this dropper empty, and then again from this dropper we will take out some drops from this beaker. So this beaker drops will go in this. So first what we have done is, we have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beakers. All the 6 beakers we have added equal amount of water. All that 6 beakers, what we did, we added equal amount of water. Now in the first one, sorry, beaker I'm telling, test tube. In the first test tube, I have added potassium permanganate. You see it is giving dark purple color. Now from this dropper, what we are going to do, we will take out some drops of solution, and we will now this time add in this one. So first we have taken the concentrated one. Now it is mixed with water. Now again we will take from this and we will add there. Now this time you see there is a color change, because whatever potassium permanganate was there, I repeat, whatever potassium permanganate was there, it got exactly, some particle of it came in the dropper, and then that particle got spread. So that particle spreading again imparted a color, but this time the air, the gaps between the water molecule is partially filled, but here it is fully filled. Now from this again you use dropper and take out some drops and fill it. Now this time the color will be light, because from here whatever particles you have taken, it will be spread very nicely here. Then from here we will add, then again we will add, and again one stage will come when if we will use the dropper and add, it will not be showing more color. This is what is reflecting that. This is exactly reflecting a very important point, and that important point is the particles is exactly of very small size, very small size. So in the dropper you have taken the particles. Once the particle will go inside water, it will exactly spread in the water nicely. It will go and take the place of the water gaps. Then again from this dropper you are keeping, but this time very less amount of particle. But the more you are taking from the dropper, and you are exactly giving it to different test tube. From this you have to give to this, from this you have to take and give it to this, from this to this, from this to this, and this to this. So finally what we are seeing, that one stage will come when the water will be exactly not showing any color of potassium permanganate. This is showing that how much you are taking the particles. The particles are nicely distributed in water, but the particles keep on getting carried from one to another. Okay, and this can only be possible when particles are exactly, we're having very small size. Particles are of very small size. So two experiment we have understood. One experiment we have understood that matter is made up of particle. Second experiment we have understood the particles are exactly of very small size. The particles are exactly very small size. So today I am going to keep it till here. Tomorrow again I am going to keep class for chemistry. Okay, same time, if this time is suiting you, same time tomorrow evening again chemistry class will be there. So bye for now. After this I am having another class.